Good morning, LinkedIn friends, Value First Nation. Welcome to another episode of Value First AI Daily, your collaborative AI intelligence report. Happy Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, here with Nico and George. How are we doing today, fellas?
Doing well. Can't complain. Another
It's getting
day.
harder and
Well,
harder.
I can actually. The only thing I can complain about is rate limits. But
Yeah,
Wow.
it's,
Yeah.
I received some extra invoices in my inbox.
Yeah. I got shut down last night. It'll be 2 a.m. when going to bed. Going to bed. I won't complain about that though, because the amount that we were able to get done in the time that we did have the thing was amazing compared to what we historically would have been able to do. However, I'm doing good personally. I did read something that shocked me this morning. And there was this thing we can, if we do show notes, we could put it in the show notes or whatever. But there was this study of like worldwide uses of AI. And it had this nice colors on the different countries and stuff. It was really cool graphic. And it talked about how like in underserved countries, DeepSeek is actually like a really like fast moving like model because right. And the UAE is like top number one AI adoption. I'm not. Oh, wow. Okay. And it got to this point where it said the United States 24th in adoption. And I sat there and I was like, well, we are not part of that. Like we're part of the 24%, but we're not part of the 76% that what are they doing? Like anyway, so like I have this like internal turmoil of like, do I live in a country that is not waking up? And I love my country. I'm not going there. This is not a political thing. I'm just like the humans, you know me, I'm all about the humans. I don't know if this will make it to 0.0004% of the humans in the United States, but humans, please, like, all that is holy. Wake up, start adopting it, make your life easier, better. I'll shut up, Chris. But I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
I mean, this is why we're here, to help people with that. And if we could call the show Wake Up AI, we probably would. I was thinking about that earlier today, man. We started this thing in October 24.
Yeah.
And still so surprising to see,
bro,
just really smart people that are very tech savvy, that just find a way to look at things differently and not connect the dots. And I mean, that's right. All we can do at this point is show like over and over and over. And I think that's what it's going to take for adoption, at least like in the US, because again, a big part of the value first methodology is just this industrial age mindset. And the personal example over the past week, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing and best practices and KPIs and all this stuff, right? Like, people often think I don't know how to play the game because I show up very differently than everybody else. And when I show you my YouTube views that are at like 7, 8, 9, because I don't try to build the YouTube channel, it's just a repository. When I show you my LinkedIn metrics and I get like 100 impressions on the post, like, oh, right. So last week, I go to Boston, take a picture of me on the bridge, say, hey guys, I'm in Boston. Where should I go for lunch to meet HubSpotters?
Yeah.
I have like 7,000 followers ish. And that post got about, I think it's like 5,000 impressions.
Yeah.
Right. And a couple days later, the unboxing post, which had more engagement and is, and I would consider to be like more valuable, right? It's at like maybe 1,500 or 2,000, right? But there's a ton of engagement, and like, not to go too off in a different direction, but that's why
Yeah.
the AI brain that is serving, like, the algorithm is trying to get everybody to like focus on engagement and comments.
Yeah.
But selfies on the feed, like, are still like far and away, you know, the social media aspects is still in here, right? But
Yeah.
then we go live on Sunday, right?
Hmm.
3-hour session,
Yeah, it was
right?
fun.
I think that's at like 2 or 300 like impressions right now. But 2 people said out
Mm,
loud,
yeah.
basically, I watched that show and now I am activated.
Yeah, that's what it's about, brother. Right there. Right there. Like it's funny because what I brought up and what you just said, it takes me back to like the reason I created the Beyond Your Default podcast when I created it is because it's so easy to get stuck in your default. And I
Mm.
think maybe that's why this hit me so hard this morning around AI was like there is 76% of the United States that is stuck in the default and they're not being activated into a place of where they could be. Anyway, yeah. It's
I mean, it's like, to me, unfortunately, it's not surprising. Um, Again, I look at things in terms of balance, and so I do the same thing, looking around the world, right? And you go to Japan, so it's kind of funny. It's like you go as far east as possible, and basically they're setting up. I think it's Honda, and I believe it's going to be done maybe this year, maybe next year. Full robot city,
mm,
right? I mean, like, people living there too, but like
yeah.
legitimately iRobot city, right? So then, like, move a little bit further, west, Shenzhen, Tokyo, or I'm sorry, Shenzhen, Shanghai, you know, Bangkok, like, uh, the further west you start going, especially Singapore, like, is just getting ridiculous. Taiwan, obviously. India is getting like huge into the game. So yeah, it kind of seems surprising, but then as you continue, like you say, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah.
Welcome to the land of wish we had manual labor, right? Like,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
so like
And
that's something where it's like you have to you have to look at both sides of the spectrum, right? Where like both sides of the spectrum in terms of, and again, yeah, I understand, like, not it's tough not to get political on this one because of the fact that state level support seriously helps.
Mm,
So, like, the biggest difference between us and, if you want to call them the competition, you go right ahead. The biggest difference between us and the competition is that we have zero state level support, like none. So, and if you think state level support counts when it's, oh, but we are partial partners and invested into Intel. No, no, that's so far the opposite direction. It's not even funny. Then you look at the quote competitor, 100% state funded. Whatever they need, they get, right?
mm,
Whenever they need it, they get it, right? So there is this like very big difference in terms of how much support is given towards the technology itself. Huawei has just made some massive, like, so at the same time, right? The challenge of adoption here has actually helped adoption elsewhere,
mm.
right? Because it's
Interesting.
like, if you can get people here, right? It's like the techniques that you could use that actually sway people here. And it's weird that we have to say that, sway people.
Right.
It's so weird to me that it's
Right.
like, it's like, I'm sure it's the same for you guys. It's like, I don't understand how you don't want to do this awesome thing, right? And for the majority, and like, seriously, for the great majority, it's free.
Yeah.
like it will be a minute before you need to like start paying money because you love doing it so much. Like, I don't know. I don't know any other thing that I can think of where like you start doing, I mean, like, yeah, you could say a hobby, but this is so beyond a hobby. It's not even
Yeah.
funny.
I
Right.
mean, at the end of the day, let's bring it back into business. Starting for free, and you could build like
Anything you can think of.
anything that you can think of. You could build a business that you could have never built before. You could be a solopreneur, a business of one, and be $1 million company, and it could be really quick, dependent upon the idea, the problem you're solving, the amount of humans that have that problem. I mean, shoot, we probably need to build an adoption app, an AI adoption app. That's the problem. Anyway, I digress. Chris,
Yeah.
let's move forward.
Well, it's for like, I'm finding more and more like if you have to change the conversation, the words being used. And I think there's plenty of behavioral science and communication studies that prove this. Like just people that like stop, like there's companies that have part of their culture, like we're not gonna say things like uh, you know, battle and pull the trigger and all these other phrases that seemingly mean like innocuous business just stuff, but like when you hear pull the trigger, like you go to like guns, right? And when you can remove that whole layer,
Yeah.
it just removes an element. Like now you don't have to worry about that possible subconscious confusion. And I think about that and get like presented with the value of the phrase value first, like every day. Because what have we seen from companies like HubSpot? AI first.
Yeah.
And when you position it like that, well, that means humans can't be first. Like if
Which, by
AI
the
is
way,
first,
it hasn't,
right?
okay.
But
It
then if
hasn't
you
always been that way though, bro. Like, this is what frustrates me. And again, I'm trying to be a mild mannered, just nice human being. But when I fell in love with HubSpot in 2012, it was because it was about being more human and doing things in a human way. And what's interesting is people live in this world of this or that. Like, I think you can be more human and live in a human way and be AI assisted. But this whole AI first, AI powered, like, dang.
Well, I
right,
think so. Like, I look at that statement from two different angles. One of them is like uh, just a catchphrase that companies use to try to attract business.
Mm,
Um, the other is like the other speaks to me about how you started out and like how you're really it's like it speaks to me about your tech stack and like how you approach your business, right? So like when it comes to decision making, right? Um, where I say AI first is like marketing 100%. If you come to me or even like go to market 100%, if you come to me with a strategy and you're thinking like, yeah, you know, this method of aggregation or this method of you know, if we use this channel and we use this message and this, you know, visual, if you come to me with that and you don't come to me with numbers,
mm.
I don't care. It's too easy now. It's way too easy to go run the numbers, to go run the research, to go do the math and not even yourself. Like it's too easy to quantify whether or not the idea you have is going to work unless it happens to be something that nobody's doing, right? And then in that case, obviously throw money at it and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
But you know, nowadays it's like, yeah, it should be the case that you are doing the due diligence, which is AI first, and then you are putting your take on top of that, right? But the reason I
well,
love it so much is because I used to be on the other end of that stick where you'd be sitting there with like, "Hey, I know this works because we've seen it, because we've read the articles, we know."
Mm.
But you have somebody in the room that's like, "Well, I feel like this is the better way to go. I think this is the best way to do things." And it's like, "Yeah, you know what? You can think and you can feel. It's awesome, right? But you're not the customer. You, one person, do not represent the entire customer base. And in a day where you can go to social and quite literally ask your customer base, because you can find them. So you can take what's in your CRM and you can turn around and you can go to Perplexity, you can go to Gemini, go to whatever AI resource you love, and you say, go find me these people on social, find out what they're saying about my brand. Right? So in a day where you can do that, I hope you're not showing up to meetings with thoughts and feelings.
It's interesting though, because I gotta tell you, where my brain goes is I want humans to have thoughts and feelings. Like I think the thoughts and feelings are what. No, I'm getting there. I'm getting there, brother. I want humans to have thoughts and feelings because that's what makes us human. That's like, and so I love this idea of. And by the way, you're talking to a guy who historically has said I suck at math because, and you guys have heard the story, but if the new listeners or viewers. Like I had a math teacher tell me I'd never amount to anything. So therefore I hid from math. I didn't like math. I didn't want to think about math. But I have a great assistant that is massively, like PhD level at math. What's funny is you're right. You should have these thoughts and you should have these feelings because that ties into the purpose and passion of the thing that you're going to choose to potentially do. What I love is this idea of like then being able to do the research, find out the mathematics, and then look at the research and the mathematics and ask yourself, do I still have the same thoughts and feelings, or have my thoughts and feelings changed, either weakened or strengthened, to then have the gut be able and the heart to be able to come in and then drive the direction based off of that research and math. So I get you, but what I don't want to have is a segment where we leave people thinking, well, moving forward, I should no longer have thoughts and feelings, because that would be destructive to like what people need to do with the talents and abilities and AI assistance that they have at their fingertips moving forward.
Yeah. And I think like that's so much a part of like the encoded framework that I've been listening to in terms of like humans are going to have thoughts and feelings, like no matter what. And that's why I'm targeting language in the way that I am, because the difference between saying AI first and AI native is massive, right? Like if I come to the table and I say AI first, like a lot of humans just gut reaction, have feelings, right? And it's feelings that most of the time are not a productive conversation to be having, but we're forced into it. And now this person's got the wall up, right? And this is like same on the other side of human first, right? Same thing happens. It's like, oh, you're trying to hold on to your manual processes and all this stuff. But like anything that creates a space for otherism, right? I won't go into all the other ways that happens around us, but I guarantee that's a part of the usage and adoption problem.
I feel like that's a different podcast.
And it comes from positioning something that is an entity like at the top. If it's at the top, and guess what? Like, what's on the other side of value first? Like, go ahead, like pick whatever other horse in the race you got. Like, it's hard for like you. Of course, like we want value, and guess what? AI wants. It wants to create value, right? And if you can just get there, right? But then we got to talk about AI because we want, like, the intent of AI first is think about using AI first before, like, you just let your old habits go. And even though that's the point of it, the outcome, like, what we're seeing is the consequence of using the language in that way, even though it makes sense. Like the consequence of the human condition makes it like challenging for a lot of people. And they bring a lot of thoughts and feelings in, understandably so. But it keeps us in a place of not realizing like the value that could be created like in the moment.
So you just sparked something in my brain, Chris, when you said that, because I do what you said without knowing what it is, because it doesn't look and smell like what we're talking about. Okay, so let me explain. I've done this for years, by the way, and you guys have heard me say, like, is it possible? Like, the most powerful things a human can say is it possible? And historically, I would be talking about this of like, can you reach that next level? Can you do that thing? And over the last, year, 2 years with AI, I have kind of repurposed that to like, okay, I need to do this. Let me give you an example. I talked about this in the green room. For the listeners, I have this client that wanted hidden fields, UTM parameters in HubSpot forms, and there was like 80 some forms, and it would have been like hours of work. And usually I'd have been like, I know how to do that, and I have, helpers that know how to do that. Let's just get to work. But I immediately went to like, wait, is it possible that there's a different way? Is it possible that we could automate this with MCP or with API? Is it possible that I could do something that I never did before? Now, did I say I'm going to be AI first? No, I didn't. I just said, hey, is it possible? And maybe that's the problem is with this whole adoption. Taking it back to the beginning is like, because people are hearing words, and instead of hearing what they can do or the way they can think about this, they feel like it's this like technological heavy lift difference of who they are. And it's not a difference of who they are. It's a difference of how they do the thing based on who they are. And I just would want people to ask themselves, like, I'm about to do this thing. Is it possible? And spend the 5 to 7, 10 to 20, 30 minutes even finding out if it's possible. Because by the way, if I would have done those forms the historical way, let's just say it was 2, maybe 3 hours, even if I spent 30 minutes to figure out, yes, it's possible, and then realized it got done in 7 minutes, how net positive am I to allowing the is it possible journey happen?
Mm-hmm. And like something I've realized I've started doing, and if you can create this habit for yourself, like I cannot recommend it enough. Like whatever the thing is that like I need to do this, like as soon as I'm like, guys, that sounds hard. I like stop myself and be like, have I asked AI yet? Have I asked Cloud Code?
Yep.
And I'm going to wrap on this example just because I'm so excited. Like it's so, I told George as he came on, I'm like, am I addicted or am I just making really good decisions all the time? Because I'm not waiting. Like so much of this stuff is like, and so this is, I'm trying to build a decentralized agency basically at Value First. And, the usual, like, hey, here's a Google Doc. Like, I'm going to send this out and then I'm going to get signatures. And yesterday I told Claude, I'm like, all right, I feel myself getting back in this, like all these tabs open, all these Chrome browsers. I want to work with you in the IDE. And then I want to work in the Value First team platform. And that's it. Yeah. So let's make a plan. And we're starting to bring all the data in from HubSpot and all this other place to basically create the space where I can operate. Well, I'm asking a bunch of people to collaborate too. So I'm creating a space for them as I'm doing that. I'm like, hey, we could probably put these docs like just in the portal, right? And Claude's like, yeah. But this part at the end where they got to sign, you're going to need to use DocuSign like for that. And I'm like, I don't have huge security concerns. I'm not trying to make legally bound documents. Like I just want to have acknowledgement. So I think we can use a HubSpot form, right? To support this process.
Yeah.
And then it happens, right? And I just want like, the part that AI, like the forcing function, that if you can remove, like the reason that 3-person companies are crushing much larger companies is they have not built all of the administrative overhead of crossing the T's
Mm,
and dotting the I's, because we're always in CYA mode. When you get 10 people together, that there's a general understanding that there's no future where any of us sue the other person, and we're all like aligned on values and vision and what we're trying to accomplish. Like the whole CYA infrastructure that gets set up in our minds, in our
yeah.
systems, so much time and effort and money is spent on that stuff. And most of what it does is get in the way of value flow, right? And makes things harder for everybody, to the point where it's like, and we work with clients all the time where it's like, yeah, that would be a cool idea, but I'm going to have to talk to legal. I'm going to have to talk to IT. I'm going to have to talk to whoever. It's going to be a conversation. I'm going to have to do it. So we're just not going to do that super awesome thing that we know we could do, and the customers want it, and it'll help grow the business, but it's too hard. And
Mhm.
I don't want to put my, like, all of the reasons, right? And uh AI, it doesn't have time for it. It knows it's not helpful. It's never gonna, like, unless you directly ask for it, it's not gonna offer it up as a good idea to build anything out. And it's just this forcing function. It's built to remove complexity that gets in the way of value creation.
Yeah. Can I just say this? There's because let's just boil it down to this. Success is on the other side of difficult, and CYA is a scarcity mindset. So do the hard thing and actually be fearless and understand that it is, like Chris is saying, how do we make actions every day to add value to the world?
If you're not sure, what are they gonna do, Nico?
They're going to tune into Value First AI Daily.
And they're gonna ask AI too. But well,
Yeah.
if they tune in, they're gonna learn how to ask AI.
Find it.
So either way,
Every single app has one.
yeah.
A
All right,
fumble
folks,
on the 3 yard line.
we'll be here tomorrow, telling you the same thing in a different way. But come on back, and everybody have a great Tuesday. We'll see you next time.
See you guys.